Ladies and gentlemen, look who we have here this evening. Enzo from Mafia, the Old Country. Riccardo, it is a pleasure. How are you,
Pleasure,
man?
it's mine. Thank you so much for having me.
How have you been? How are you feeling about a week after release now of
Yeah,
this big title, your first video game? How does it feel?
it feels great, to be honest, and we're all blown away by the reception of the fans and the players. It's been wonderful. We're all receiving like thousands and thousands of messages, like saying how much they're enjoying the game, and it's been a blast. It's been a blast for us to see the way the game has been received. It's watching the videos, reaction videos, guys like you streaming it and then playing it and having fun, us playing it together. It's very blessed.
You playing it with Don Torrisi actor Johnny recently?
Yeah, we played actually the day the game released. We got together, me, Johnny Santiago, who plays Don Torrisi, and Christian Antidormi, who plays Cesare, and we got together and had our own little release party. We got some pizza, and then we just like celebrated the release of the game, and we played a few chapters together, and it was so fun, just like laughing at it, and reminiscing about like, oh, remember that day when we shot that, and then it was just super fun.
I was going to say you should have streamed it, but not everything needs to be streamed these days. We
Yeah,
can't have some things private.
yeah, we thought
Uh,
about it for a
uh.
second, but then we were like, I don't know. We just kept it a little bit more private. But
Were you guys critiquing each other's performances or what?
well, Johnny was having a hard time going through the missions, and he would have me die a million times. And he would be like, come on, man, what the hell? You're just killing me here. Like Enzo would just die over and over and over again. But no, but like instead of criticizing, it was just like praising, all over, because Johnny's performance as Don is amazing, and
Oh,
Cesare,
yeah.
Christian as Cesare is also fantastic. He makes me crack up, and laugh so hard the whole time, And as I was telling you before, it's just so nice to see the final product,
Yeah.
put together and it's in, as its whole, and it's just amazing.
Do they tell you from the start where the character's going without getting into spoilers, but do you do they lay everything out straight away on the canvas?
Um, as far as I can remember, not really. It
Mm.
wasn't until like later on in production process and development that I started to learn more and more things about the story and the development. Um, but they're really good at keeping things secret. Even throughout the casting process at the beginning, we didn't really know what we were auditioning for. We just knew it was a video game, and then eventually towards the end, we learned it was going to be Mafia. But even when we started shooting, we didn't even know the name of the game. It was just had a code name, which was Nero. Code name.
Nero, what's the significance of
It
that?
means it means black in Italian.
Okay, interesting.
Nero.
Yeah,
Uh, so we knew it was a mafia game. We knew it was going to have a different name,
yeah.
which was not going to be Nero, but it was up until like maybe like a year and a half ago that we learned it was going to be Mafia the Old Country.
How does it
Which
work with like returning characters in the game, like Leo Galante, who was in the other mafias? Do they word you guys up about that? Because obviously you haven't. A lot of the actors wouldn't have played any of the mafias or know some of these characters. Do they word you up about those characters, or do you just play the scene normally and you kind of find out later?
Yeah, we kind of like find out later,
Yeah.
and I mean, some of us kind of like connected the dots and be like, oh, that's the same Leo Galante from, or like the writers would be on set with us, and the game producers and developers, and be like, yes, we have a bunch of returning characters from other Mafia games. So obviously Leo Galante is one of the predominantly most famous ones that is returning. Then you have Luca's son, which is Sam
Yeah.
Trapani, Mafia Definitive Edition. And then there's a few others that even with us, they kind of left it in the unknown, and we didn't really know until like the game came out and all the fans started to like dig deep into the story and all the characters and trying to figure out who's returning and who's not.
Yeah.
You
There's a lot
care.
of speculation, isn't there? There's kind of,
Yeah.
even before release, months before, people trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it was great to be honest to see how luckily there was no leaking of
Mm,
information, to be honest,
mm.
about the story, and like up until like a few weeks before, there was no problems whatsoever.
Yeah.
The story was kept secret, like which is great because it allows the players to just, have a full-on experience by themselves and not be subject of spoilers.
How far are you through?
Probably like 70%.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Nicely
Yeah,
done.
70% of the game. Yeah. Um, I'm taking my time. I'm taking my sweet time, you know. I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna play it more than once,
Yeah.
you know, but it's like this is so good. I want to play like an hour. It's like you're having a delicious meal and you just don't want to rip it. You want to like enjoy it and taste it and take your own sweet time. So that's what I'm doing.
I'm the opposite, man. I had a beat within 24 hours. I couldn't help
Wow.
myself.
I know. I saw people like beating it
Uh,
in like 14 hours, like in one sitting, just like went through it, which I get it. Like it can be even for me that I know the story, I'm familiar with it, and I had played the game before it released a little bit,
yeah.
5 months ago or something like that. So like I was familiar, but even then, when I'm playing it right now, it's still like just exciting and it's beautiful and it keeps you like there, like, and you want to see what's coming and you want to see what's next. You care about the characters, I think. And so like it's a very nice experience.
And more polished from the 5 months ago you played it, I'm sure. Like
Yeah.
just came
Yeah.
together better. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even back then, it was probably, yeah, it was around March or something. They
Mm.
invited me and to their studio to try the game. It was almost ready. It wasn't like, it was probably like 85%, 80% ready. There were a few bugs here and there,
Yeah.
but like nothing like the game was playable and enjoyable already. Like the cutscenes, the cinematics were already. Most of the in-gameplay dialogue, voiceover was done. We had done it already, and they were just like polishing touches.
So when did you come onto the project for one? And two, who's the first person you tell when you get the role in the next Mafia main character?
Um, it was through a colleague of mine, a friend of mine that received the audition. Um, And then next time I see him, he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey Ricardo, by the way, I just received this audition for this voiceover project. It appears to be a video game, and they said they're looking for an Italian guy that is native in Italian and is between 20 to 25 years old." And he's like, "Do you want to do it?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So like he sent me the scenes and I shot it. I did a self tape and I sent it over to him. He sent it over to his agents, and
Yeah.
then eventually they got back to me a few weeks later saying that they wanted to see me again. And so we did a second audition, and then probably like a month into like this whole process, it's when they called me and they said they wanted to book me and they wanted me to be the new lead. And I remember I called my family, I called my girlfriend, like I called my friends. It was just like so exciting. Also because I had just moved to Los Angeles like 5 months before. And so it was like,
Oh.
I was so happy because right away it was this big opportunity coming my way. And I was so grateful. And yeah, it was great.
Do you think you want to dabble into more video games after this experience with the
Oh, for
performance
sure.
capture? Yeah.
For sure. Like, I had never done motion capture work before, neither video games or voiceovers in video games whatsoever. So I didn't really know what to expect, um, even when it comes to the technical aspect of performing on a mocap stage. But I've got to say, like, it was one of the best experiences in my life, and like, and as an actor, it's not that different from a theater stage or from a movie set. The technicalities are different, you know. Obviously, the way you move or the way you relate to props, you know, because most of them are imaginary or you rely on production assistants like handing you stuff because like I don't know, you don't have pockets. So like if you're pretending to put something in your pocket, you've got to have somebody that comes from the back and just grabs it from you. So it's all of that. But for us, it's the same process when you approach the character and your character work as an actor, the way you study your lines and you memorize them and then you do your own work and then you show up and you show up with an idea about the character. But it's been such a healthy process and it's a communal thing like everything else in this industry, meaning like there's, you know, communication between the writers and yourself and the performance director, the game developers, cinematic director who was on stage all the time, you know. And it's just been so, you know, such a beautiful and amazing experience. And I remember we talked about it afterwards with Alberto, who plays Luca, with Christian, with Johnny, with Karina, how, you know, the moment we received the auditions and we read those scenes, we were like, are you kidding me? Like, this is unbelievable. Like, the writing was so good. And, you know, it's not every day that you get to audition for something where it's easier for you in a way as an actor to just immerse yourself in the story when the writing is just so interesting and refined and curated, you know. So it's like it makes your job easier. So like, and I feel like in general the gaming industry is evolving in that sense where more and more story-driven video games with amazing storytelling, and so like it's a blast, and that's why you see more and more even established actors being part of big video games, you know, because, you know, it's fun. It's fun, and you get to work with amazing people. You get to work on amazing material, which is stimulating for you as an actor. So there's no downside, you know, to that at all.
Did it help you that a lot of the main cast of this hadn't done a video game before and you're all kind of going in fresh at the same time?
Um, kind of. I mean,
Or would it
yes.
make it harder?
No, I mean, to be honest, you kind of get used to it pretty quickly, you know.
Okay.
For sure, like the first few days, you have to adjust yourself to this new reality, you know. As you said, because the main cast, you know, we had never done motion capture before, so we were all in the same boat, you know. But I never experienced any sort of technical problems or even witnessed some sort of a difficulty that some of my castmates were going through or something. So it just felt natural for all of us, I think.
So you grew up in Italy. Whereabouts in
Yeah.
Italy did you grow up?
I grew up in Bologna, which is a city in the center north of Italy, close to Florence. Just a beautiful small city, you know, a lot of history, amazing food. And then I've lived in the States for about 5 years now. I was in Miami before, and then I moved in Los Angeles in 2022. So I've been in Los Angeles for 3 years at this point.
Is there a contrast between living in Italy versus LA?
Oh yeah, big time. There's a big difference, big contrast. But
Culture shock or what?
yes, I mean probably the fact that I had lived in Miami before helped me not feeling this cultural shock as much, as opposed to if I had moved from Italy straight to Los Angeles. Um,
Yeah.
and before even Miami, I had lived in London, in the UK for a little bit. So like I was used to like not living in Italy.
Okay.
But there's so many differences. We could go on for like hours about the cultural differences between like Los Angeles and Italy, but I can just say that I like them both, you know, like they both have very positive things and very negative things, you know. I
Yeah.
like, you know, food is obviously one of our best things that we have, you know. Obviously I miss my family, my friends, you know, maybe the simplicity of life and the rhythm. But then like I like the fact that Los Angeles is such a multicultural city with people from all over the world, so many cultures, different types of cuisines, art. It's very centric. All the best artists in the world, they just get here when it comes to music, art, cinema, video games, all of it, you name it. And this city has so much to offer. It has deserts, has mountains, has beach, has hills, has everything.
So Italian's your first language.
Yeah.
And so when did you start learning English?
I studied English in middle school and high school, like basically everybody else does in Italy. And then
Yeah, but
when
is it as serious as like when because I did Italian.
yeah.
Obviously, I don't know Italian now, but you know what I mean. But you've retained everything from school. Is it more serious doing English there?
No, my English doesn't come from school. Yes, it does, but
Okay.
as I said, I mean, I've lived in London for a little bit. That's the first time that I really started to like get better at English. Also, I forced myself to not find an accommodation with Italians and then working in an Italian restaurant or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
I just forced
Yeah.
myself to live in a house where I was like speaking English was my only option
Yeah.
to communicate, and so like that's how you get better. And then for years, even since I was like 16 and 17, I started watching, movies in original language, so like in English with English subtitles, listening to a lot of music and reading books in English. And then I've also been working with a dialect coach to try to get rid of most of my, Italian accent. Not to get rid of it, but like to have better pronunciation in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously living here, but I've studied the English grammar, and so
So
it's
if I
been
was speaking to you 10 years ago, the accent would be more heavy.
a lot, yeah,
Yeah.
looking different, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I'd be able to like it was probably like a broken English, like
Really?
imagine if
Yeah.
you go to Italy tomorrow and
Yeah.
speak
Yeah.
English with some random people, they're able to communicate, with you, but you can hear the accent, the heavy accent, and maybe
Yeah.
their use of vocabulary and grammar is probably,
Did you feel any pressure at all representing your country in this game?
I think I should probably say honestly, I mean, like, it was an honor. It was beautiful to like to be part of this franchise. Yes, I mean, when we finally realized what was going on, we were like, dude, this is incredible. It's like Mafia. It's a huge game franchise. Which has millions and millions of fans all over the world. And I remember growing up, my brother used to play it, and all my friends, and Mafia 1, Mafia 2, Mafia 3. It's always been there in the back of my. I remember playing it too as a kid. And so like then you find yourself 10 years, 15 years later in a mocap stage, and you're in the game, and it's just unbelievable. And I would have been as happy, even if I had only like a smaller role in the project, I would have been as grateful and happy to be part of it. But I was so surprised and happy to see how authentically they were representing, especially Sicily.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't like using stereotypes and cliches, like, and even the things that you see and you think they are cliches, well, they're not. It's actually like very authentic, like people can be like, oh yeah, look at just stuffing the rooms with lemons and oranges, and it's stereotypical about Southern Italy, but it's actually what was going on. That was a huge business in Sicily back in the day, especially when, during the years of Mafia the Old Country, that what was going on, like the wine,
Yeah.
and when it comes to like the development of the Mafia, Cosa Nostra, I think it's pretty accurate. That's basically what happened, and that's basically what you see in the game. It's pretty relatable, like, and historically accurate as to and how the Mafia would operate back in those days.
Even with the mines, right? That's something that happened.
Yeah, that's a true thing. They were really called Carusi, and
Mm.
they were like child slaves that were sold to these mine mines owners, landowners from their parents because they needed money. Like Sicily, it's always in the past, especially, it's always been like a very poor region.
Mm.
Especially at the beginning of the 20th century, so like 1900s, it was very, very poor. And so like farmers, families, they would have big, a lot of children's, and most of them sometimes they would sell them to these mines to get some money, and then eventually,
Mm.
like 10 years later, the kid would return, but still like. And so like
Mm.
I remember doing a lot of research when it comes to that too, and like there's pictures online, you can find them about these young kids, and I mean kids from like 5 to 6 to like
Oh,
even 15
wow.
to 15, even older,
Yeah.
I feel like the way we depicted it in the game, it's extremely accurate and sad, but that's true. That really happened.
Slight spoiler here, guys, if you want to skip. I also noticed the start of the game, we started the mines and then we kind of end there. That obviously was a creative choice that
Yeah.
they went for. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think I never thought about it until like later on.
Mm.
Um, you know, funny and tragic ending for Enzo, meaning like starting from the mines and then you're going back to the mines.
Mm.
And I guess it's a metaphor for the mafia life, which
Mm.
is you can't escape it. Once you're part of it, you're part of it for life. And the only way to escape it is through death. So like he came from the mines and then he went back to the mines.
Tell me, shooting that scene, how did you feel emotionally and how did it come together? Have you seen it? I'm guessing you've
Yeah, I
seen,
have
yeah.
seen it. I think it's fantastic. Like it's extremely emotional, and I think even Christian did a fantastic job, and Johnny. That day was a lot of screaming and running. I remember running because we, like all the, running through the tunnels, and then the commotion, and then the stabbing, and this and that. Um, which is funny because in a way we were having fun, you know. Then
Yeah.
obviously action, you go into it and you do it, but then as soon as they would say cut, it'd be just like me laughing at Johnny with an up his face, like I got you, just like, and he would laugh so hard, and which is fun. But yeah, the scene that, I mean, this is spoilers, but
Yes,
this
spoilers, guys.
scene with Cesare, when Cesare betrays Enzo, remember that was very emotional for us to like shoot, and but we felt it was special. We felt, we could see it stitched together already in some way, and we could understand the tragic epicness of it.
We've all got our interpretations. Why do you think he did it from your perspective?
Well, I think he felt betrayed twice. He felt betrayed first as a nephew by his uncle, because throughout the game he starts seeing Enzo rising up the ranks way faster than he was expecting, and kind of like gets scared, and up to the point where he thinks that eventually might one day Don Teresi might even like choose Enzo as his next in line, for the throne in
Mm.
some way. And because Don Teresi, calls Enzo his most dutiful soldier, like, so he trusts Enzo at this point, and he knows Enzo is loyal and is trustworthy, and he fights, and he's good at fighting, and he protects what he has to protect, and he shows bravery, and Cesare doesn't necessarily. So he feels, you know, put in a different and a dangerous position by Enzo. So he sees his life put in danger and his future put in danger by Enzo's presence. And then he also felt betrayed by the fact that, you're not like what Enzo did with Isabella, it's wrong, technically, from a mafia point of view, where you took an oath and you took an oath to never lie and to not
Mhm.
betray your family. So he did that. He did it for love, which is justifiable. But the way Cesare sees it, like Enzo deserves to die, you know? He broke the rule.
Is it tough doing a scene like that because you don't want to go too over the top where it becomes cartoonish, but it's
Yeah.
also a big moment and you do have to give it some oomph. So how do you strike that balance, for scenes like that?
I think that we were lucky throughout the game with every scene, basically,
Mm.
because, as I said before, the writing is so cinematic. You know, we felt like we were reading a screenplay from a movie. You know, like a movie that you could totally see on screen. You know, and so in general, that's my opinion. When you do less is more. You know,
Mm.
like as an actor, obviously less doesn't mean nothing. Less just means don't overact, but you have to have the intensity and some truth, behind your eyes, like, and you must be thinking about what's going on, and you have a, background for your character. So like you must feel what's happening. So specifically about that moment, yeah, you don't want to overact it,
Mm.
because it doesn't feel as real. And it's sad because Enzo does trust Cesare till the end. He doesn't kill him, and he had the opportunity to do it, and he lets him
I
live.
forgot about that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's even makes it even worse. Yeah.
yeah, because it's like live for yourself, Cesare, not for him. Like live your life because you want to live it. Don't do anything that he tells you to do. Like you're a free man, and because he likes him, Cesare. At the end of the day, Cesare was a good friend for Enzo throughout the game, and throughout those years. So like Enzo wants to give him a second chance, and so obviously when we played it, we knew we had to just connect with one another and think about what had happened between us, and just follow what was on the page and not overact it, and just, yeah, give it our 100%.
There's so many scenes I want to talk to you about. The Luca death scene. Remember shooting that one? Yeah.
Yeah, that
Because
was a
he's a
very,
fan favorite. I don't know if you know, but people
yeah,
love. Yeah.
yeah, because he's such a fatherly figure, like,
Mm.
and unclely as well. He could be like your or like the cool uncle that you talk to,
I
and
think that's what he reminds people of. The cool uncle. Yeah.
yeah, cool uncle, and he's such a gentleman in the game. From the very first scene, I can you can sense that there's going to be an amazing relationship between Enzo and Luca. When Enzo is found in the barn, and then Don Teresi shows up, and then it's Luca who's offering his hand to Enzo. And I remember shooting that scene too,
Great scene.
and thinking, wow, like for Enzo, this is probably one of the first time in years where somebody is protecting him, and
Yeah.
somebody is lending a hand and trying to help him and trying to do something nice instead of just slavery and torture and beatings and all of that. So like he doesn't even know how to accept that kind of kindness. He's kind of like reluctant to, and is mistrusting what's going to happen because he doesn't know. And so like obviously throughout the game, then when we had to shoot that scene where Luca's death was emotional for all of us, because it was also like a very dynamic. It was a beautiful scene to shoot because it was very dynamic from the moment we got into the barn, and well, it was the bar actually, the bar,
The bar. Yeah.
and then there's many people on stage and in the scene. So it was tough, and it was beautiful. I think it turned out to be a beautiful scene, and
Yeah.
obviously, when you look back at it, there's always things that you're like, "Ah, I wish I had done something different about this,
The
of course, with
perfectionist
any,
comes out. Yeah.
yeah. But overall, I think we're pretty happy with the way it turned out. Yeah,
The back to the Cesare. I'm going back and forth here. Sorry.
yeah,
Cesare betrayal scene. You know that's coming from the first moment you step on the stage, you know that that betrayal is something we're leading to? Does it play in the back of your mind when you're having scenes with him at all? Or do you have to kind of eliminate it so that it doesn't show up in any way, if that makes any sense?
Yes, you have to eliminate it. We
Mm.
knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
So at one point, we went through a whole like story, like rundown. Like so. We talked about the story of Mafia the Old Country in general. So like chapter one, two, three, four, whatever. And so like we know where the beginning was and where the ending was. With the
Yeah.
arc of each character. From the beginning to the end. But then when you play a scene, you just have to forget it,
Mm.
because you can't sell it to the audience. You should never sell to the audience that Enzo suspects that Cesare might betray him one day, I think from Cesare's perspective, and Christian did it, he could have played, and he did play a little bit of, kind of that eye, winkly eye of like, something is not right with this guy, like that he's not 100% sure about Enzo, and that
Mm.
he thinks that one day like he might do something weird or wrong, or and then eventually, as we were talking about, he starts to develop these feelings of, oh, he's taking my spot, like he's
Yeah.
rising high. The moment, like, and the first time that happened, it was after Luca's death,
The funeral kind of
when.
scene in the three of them. Yeah. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, and before that, when Don Teresi calls Enzo into his office,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm
yeah,
thinking of. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, where Luca's body is laid down in front of him, and he's like, "Step forward," and Cesare goes to step forward, and then he's like, "Not
Not
you."
you. Not you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like that was the first moment. He was like, wow." So he's not asking me to take care of this matter, but he's
Yeah.
asking the Kusu, you know. So like, there's
Yeah.
always been an element of envy and
Mm.
jealousy, uh, from Cesare towards Enzo.
You know
But he
that
was good at not selling it too much.
yeah, yeah, he was brilliant. Everyone was
Yeah.
great in this. I really love Tino as well. I thought he was an absolute
Oh,
asshole, but a great
fantastic. Yeah,
actor.
he did a
Great
great job. Great job.
actor.
He had
um,
such a beautiful voith that just
doesn't
fit
he?
in.
Oh, I could hear it
Uh,
all day. So
yeah,
unique.
and like love for that character fit
Yeah.
perfectly.
The do you remember doing the drunken kind of scene where you're all kind of was that
Yeah,
was in the booth, wasn't it?
yeah, that
Yeah.
was Theo. Yeah, but it was so fun. But I guess some of the singing parts I didn't hear it because I generally laughed so hard when I heard it for the first time. I guess maybe they did it after I did it.
Yeah.
Because obviously, as you probably can imagine, I would go maybe one day and then a few weeks later,
Yeah.
then Justin would go in, or like Mark, who played Leo Galante, would go in. So like, most likely, usually it was always me, like kind of recording the first track of,
Yeah. Because you're the
uh,
main character. You're the yeah.
yeah, and then they would follow through. But I remember that, yeah, it was such a fun scene. And then watching it, like when you're just driving around in that specific moment, with these three drunk idiots in the car, it's just so fun.
I feel like we should have got you singing because I know you originally wanted to be a musician, didn't you, when you were younger?
Me as Ricardo? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I've always loved music. I still do. I still play guitar, piano, I sing all the time. But yeah, I guess when I was a little bit younger, I kind of thought about being a musician for a little bit, and then I've always had acting too in the back of my
Yeah.
mind.
They kind of
Um,
occupy the same space, don't they? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But then I guess acting happened first, or something like that, and then like the moment I did it, I just fell in love with it, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to pursue for the rest of my life. And I would say, like, thank God I did it.
Well, yeah. And well, I feel like I've seen some footage of you with the guitar, man. I don't know where I see it. Maybe it was on YouTube. Beautiful voice, just you with the acoustic guitar. Does that sound right? I feel
Yeah,
like it
probably.
it could have been in the credits of this game. It would have fit perfectly. You know, you with the guitar,
Yeah,
maybe
it
as the
could.
character.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
should
We
have
could
pushed for it, man.
have. Actually,
Uh,
can we reshoot some of the things in the game and do something? Yeah, a few
yeah,
corrections.
that'll go down well. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
um, we've also got to talk about the Isabella kind of beautiful love story, also tragic. Did you get that chemistry instantly with Karina and
Yeah.
tell us about shooting some of those romantic scenes, the kissing, because you can't. I don't think people know, but you can't actually kiss with this sort of technology on, can you? You kind of got to fake it or
You know, you
what?
can.
You can.
It's
Okay, tell
yeah.
us.
It's
Tell us.
it's a little bit of a pain, but you can. The only thing, it's well, not for us. It's mostly for the
Yeah,
developers,
yeah.
the graphic animators, because basically what we would do is like we would record the scene in full on suits, uh, and then and the face camera, so the helmet and with the face camera, and then the moment where we were supposed to kiss, then we would just like kind of stop, close our eyes, and do it, count a few seconds, and then we would take the helmets off and the face cameras off, and then we would just record the bodies. So then at that point we would switch to some sort of like funny hats that we would put on with markers on our heads, and then at that point we would actually kiss. Probably like
Okay.
100%. Yeah,
Right. Okay. There you go.
yeah,
Because I remember back in the day, I've spoken to some actors. It used to be that you kind of had to pretend kiss kind of close, but now I guess the technology's evolved a little bit since then. Yeah.
yeah. It has evolved a lot, and especially in recent years too, because I remember watching videos from old motion capture performances, even from movies or other games, And one of the things I noticed actually was they would have dots on their face, most of the
Oh,
actors.
you didn't have
And
that?
no,
Oh, you had the camera.
we just had, well, they also had cameras and
Okay.
also dots.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and we just had the cameras. And then I asked them about it, and they were like, well, because technology just got better, and they do better scannings of your face and facial structures beforehand. And so then when they're animating it, they don't need those trackers
Oh,
because
is that
they'll
when they take the 1,000 photos of you in that little booth?
exactly, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So that's why it's like going back to one of the first questions you asked me about motion. It's just an amazing process, the whole thing, like getting your face scanned and like taking 1,000 pictures of, and then it's just fun, and then to see yourself in a video game, it's just unbelievable. It's an unbelievable feeling.
Oh, well, yeah. What is that first time you see yourself in the game? Is that a pinch me moment?
Yeah, yeah. And it was like it was like months and months and months ago when it was just a kind of 30-40% developed cinematic,
Yeah.
where because I guess they were already working on my model, on my animation, but like so it would they would show us some stuff, and then the other characters would just be like robots just floating in the air. And so it'd be funny, there was no music,
Uh,
color correction, no sound animation, nothing, sound design. But I remember just being like, oh my God, this looks incredible. And thinking like when this is gonna be like done and polished, it's gonna be unbelievable. And we were right, like it actually looks like a movie. And I gotta say, like, kudos to like all the developers in the Czech Republic from Hangar 13 and all around the world, all the graphic animators, and the cinema, and the guy, like, and I've met most of them, and they're all amazing people, and just they did a fantastic job, because especially when it comes to recreating that environment and that feeling, I think they were just there's nothing wrong that you could say about this, about what they did.
you went into the offices, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It was
Yeah.
back in March when I had the opportunity to meet most of the team and to play the game, and it was so nice. Like a lot of these guys were kind of like starstruck, and
Because they've been
but
seeing your face for
yeah,
4 years.
exactly. And they were like, "You don't know me, but I've been looking at your face the past 2 years." And then, and I've been working on your butt for the past 2 years. And I was like, okay, nice to meet you. I'm Riccardo.
That's a
But it was
conversation you wouldn't have very often.
no, 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 no. But it was so nice, and getting to meet everyone and just see their reactions, and telling them stories too about our process on mocap, and because many, sometimes maybe they don't really know exactly what's going on in terms of behind the scenes, and so they were having a lot of fun hearing all these stories, and um, we were blessed to do this.
Few more before I let you go, man, and thanks again
Yeah.
for your time. I appreciate it. That Isabella scene where kind of you guys are trying to get out, and live your life, go to Empire Bay, and then you kind of get caught.
Mhm.
And that final scene with you two, how emotional was that shooting that because that's probably my favorite scene, I would say, or one of.
Yeah.
Just kind of where you're kind of declaring your love, and then there's kind of that whole Tino's there and everything. Do you remember shooting that one?
Yeah. It was actually I wouldn't say one of the last scenes, but it was probably last week of shooting of something. So it helped us because we had the whole baggage with us, in terms of background of the story, what happened, what was
Mm.
going to happen. So we were very clear with all of that, and it was emotional, but and sad, and because they go from being over the top happy, the moment we step down from this car and get on that train, then there's a new life, awaiting for us. And then boom, all of a sudden it's over, it's done. And I think they both realized that the moment they saw Tino and the other Teresi mafiosi, they were like, this is over. There's no way this is gonna end well, you know?
Well,
And
because as an audience, we don't know that's the last time they're going to see each other, but it is. But you
it
you
is,
kind
yeah.
of know that it is. So do you figure that in to the way you play it? Because I feel like now looking back at it, it does feel like this is the goodbye in a way.
Um, I don't, when I played it, I don't think I played with that thing in mind,
Okay.
this might be the last time I see her, because as Enzo, I was always thinking, I'll fight with my life to get back to her, so
Mm.
when and I tell her, I'll find you, I'll come find you, and we've seen Enzo throughout the game, killing 20 people easily. So in
True,
his
true. Yeah,
yeah. So in his mind, he's like, I'll find a way. If I have to
yeah.
kill Cesare to get back to you, Enzo would do it. He would kill Cesare, he would kill Don Teresi. Probably the only person who he wouldn't kill is Luca. I mean, obviously at that point he was already dead, but even if he wasn't, you know, he's probably the only one that he wouldn't kill just to get through what he wants to get and and get back with Isabella. But everybody else is just an obstacle, because
Mm.
I guess from the moment that Enzo met Isabella, he just wanted to be with her. So everything that he does is just a means to an end. It's just, I want to gain Don Teresi's trust. So eventually one day I can ask him for us to get married. And then he had a plan B. It's like, and if he says no, we'll find a way, we'll get out of here and we'll go to America, which is, what they do. Um, but yeah, as Enzo, there's always that glimmer of hope, of even
Mm.
if he's being detained and taken away, he's like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna find a way. I'm gonna
so
fight through
true.
this, find
Mm.
my way, and get back to you, and then we'll carry on and we'll continue.
So can you dispel the rumors that Enzo is in fact dead? Because some people think he's not actually dead.
Well, as far as
Oh,
I know,
okay,
he's dead.
okay, okay. Yeah,
You know, we haven't shot anything else that would make you think or sell you the fact that
yeah.
he's not, or that he is alive. But who knows? I mean, I have no idea. Maybe the
Yeah.
writers and the producers will if they decide to continue the story in some way or another, and if they want to bring back Enzo in some way or another, they would probably find a way, you know? Um,
I feel like, where did he get stabbed? That would be tough to survive, though, don't you think?
yeah, he gets stabbed in the ear, like in
I,
by his kidneys or something. Like,
I guess you could survive. I don't know the logistics of that. Maybe.
again, Enzo is pretty badass. We've seen him do things that other
True.
people would have died
Yeah.
on the spot. Um, but then again, I don't know. It's the way it's shot and the way it's sold. It makes you think that he might be dead. You know, um,
Yeah.
that he is dead. You know,
Yeah.
indeed.
I feel like it is kind of set. They are setting themselves up for another game playing as Enzo's son or Isabella, I guess. But um, yeah, that's far away. We don't know where they could go 100 directions.
Yeah, they could. Honestly, I have no idea. We haven't talked about it. You know, like
No, no, no. I know.
I know they have plans to continue the franchise. You know,
Yeah,
that's what they want to do,
of
and
course.
but that's as far as we get in terms of the information that we receive. You know, it's like, yes, we would love to continue. That's it. We don't know
What
anything.
What's your last one? What's your proudest moment of this whole experience?
That's a great question. There's so many. Proudest moment, I would probably pick a few. I remember actually when I was, as we were just discussing, when I was in the Czech Republic at the studio and meeting everyone and seeing like how happy they were to like meet me, and kind of they were proud of what they were doing with the game and the achievements that they were getting, and they were working so hard, like long days and long hours, and so like to put a smile on their I know it sounds cheesy and corny, but to put a smile on their face and to just share a beautiful night and sharing beers and telling stories, you know, like at the end of the day, that's what this is about. You know, this is about creating lasting memories when it comes to like even, you know, gamers, you know, and all around the world, you know, like we want them to like play this game and have a good time and to connect with the characters. And so like, and if that happens, then I'm proud. I'm proud of the work I've done. I'm happy. And I'm proud of to have done it with so many brilliant people at my side, you know, because this is a team's work. You can't do it by yourself, even if you wanted to. So like, and as I said before too, it's the brilliance and creativity of all my castmates and the performance director, the developers, the producers, the writers, just made our job easier and provide us with the opportunity to just show up and have fun. Um, and just in general, I'm proud of have met, I don't know if I guess proud is the right word, but I'm happy and grateful to have met my castmates, you know, because we created like friendships that I'm sure are gonna last a long, long time. And we talked about this so many times that usually, you know, sometimes you get on projects and you're shooting with people, and then once the project is over, it's like, yeah, I'll see you, bye bye, and you never talk to them again, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Like
you
any
might,
workplace. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. You know, you have a good relationship and it's polite and it's kind and you have fun, but once it's over, it's over. And instead, with us, you know, like we created a long-lasting friendship, you know, and we see each other all the time. We hang out, you know, we have fun, and so I'm happy about that. I'm proud of it. Uh, and then who knows? Maybe there's so many more beautiful things coming with this game. You know, it's just the beginning, technically. You know, it just came out 5 days ago. There's so many other like opportunities for great stories to be told and to unfold, I think.
yeah. They introduced, I think, this morning or yesterday, the free ride mode is coming in.
Oh yeah,
That'll be cool.
read about that.
Yeah,
That's gonna be so cool. Yeah.
and they said, I think they said more missions or different stuff to do, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool too. Yeah,
Yeah. I
that's
think they're
great.
gonna keep working on the game for a little bit, you know, like
Yeah,
what I like about 2K and Hangar 13, I see them being very involved with the community and like in listening to what the community has to say. And so like it's amazing that they're doing this, because I remember reading some comments about that, and it was like some people saying like it's kind of a waste that, once you're done with the game, you have this beautiful environment that you created, Sicily, and it's kind of limited in terms of what you can do. And so I guess they listened to that and they're like, okay, we're gonna do it, and fix it and improve it. So I'm looking forward to that too, because I would love to spend hours just roaming around, horseback riding and driving cars.
Oh, there's great attention to detail, like with the engines and the sounds of the engines and the vehicles. Just even in that, real
Yeah.
like some of the best representations of those vehicles I've seen in a game ever.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew this, but they're very peculiar and meticulous when it comes to, especially the cars too. So they have found a car collector in the Czech Republic, I think, which he owns like hundreds and hundreds of cars going back to 1900, so like 1904.
Ah,
They actually went to his garage and they recorded live the sound of these cars, and they mocapped some of the movements, and so like they had real life models when it
there you
comes.
go. That's why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why when you hear them they sound so good, and they sound like real, you know
Well, there you go. I didn't know that, but I could tell just by that.
yeah.
You can just tell, when it's a fake sound or when it's the real thing.
Yeah, and
Um,
they just pour a lot of love and passion into these games, and even we were talking about authenticity of Sicily and the language and the stories, and they, like, I think it was like a year before we started shooting, they went to Sicily. The developers, the main producing team of the developers, they actually went to Sicily for like a week or something, and collect the stories about the knives and
wow.
cars. And then they were working side by side with a studio based in Sicily, a gaming studio based in Sicily. And so that's where they were getting a lot of the info about the history of the mafia, and things that were authentic and not authentic, peculiar words to use in the dialogue. So that's why I said it's a very authentic game. There's nothing fake about this game, and everything they've done, it's 100% authentic, when it comes to Italian representation and Sicilian culture, like there's nothing negative I can say about that. And so like I applaud them. They've done such a good job, and yeah, their attention to detail is like unbelievable.
Yeah, even yeah, just playing a mission the other day, you kind of splice in the Italian words with the English, and it makes it
Yeah,
feel more authentic. I don't know what it is,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
We wanted to do it, and I'm curious to actually try it now. I think once I'm gonna be done with the first cycle of the game for the first time, I might replay it with the Sicilian dubbing. I might be
Yeah.
curious to play it that way. And I heard really good things about it. Uh,
Yeah.
and I'm watching videos of Sicilian streamers that they're playing the game with the Sicilian dubbing, and they're so proud and so happy that it's the first time ever that it happens that there's a
Yeah.
AAA video game with Sicilian dubbing, that is so authentic when it comes to its representation. So, and they're having fun, and they're laughing,
Yeah.
they've done such a good job with that dubbing too. So like,
Is it much different from Italian,
yeah,
Sicilian? Like
yeah,
it's really different. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a dialect. It's a regional
Mm.
dialect. I
Yeah.
mean, I understand some words, like, but
You couldn't
if I
speak it with
like, no, I don't
yeah.
speak it, or like, even if I were to play the game with the Sicilian dubbing, I would probably need to like read subtitles.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah, interesting.
yeah.
Hey man, thank you for taking the time. I've really enjoyed this. I appreciate
Oh,
your
of course,
time.
me too. Great convo.
Is there anything you want to say to the fans quickly before I let you go?
Well, like, thank you so much to everyone for playing the game and showing so much love and respect to us and the game. We're so happy, like, we poured everything that we had in terms of love and passion into it, and so it makes us extremely proud that you guys are having a good time playing it, and we want to keep watching you playing games and posting videos and clips, and and yeah, keep having a good time playing Mafia the Old Country, and hopefully there will be a sequel or something. And but yeah, for now, just thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it, and thank you, Dan.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Before I let you go, can Enzo say something to Dan to finish this conversation off?
Dan, I told you to go down there and take a look at those cars. There were money inside. And you didn't listen to me. You just went in there and didn't collect the money, and now I have to go back to Don Torrisi and tell him that the money is gone. How the hell am I supposed to do this? I don't know, just improvise some whatever. Did it sound like Enzo?
I don't know how you did that, man. That was fantastic. Mate, I thought the character was in front of me. That was awesome. Thank you, man.
No problem. Thank you, Dan. It was really nice talking to you.